Welcome to the GCN Tech Show. This week we've got new bikes, a new turbo, new tyres, the bike vault, your upgrades, plus our main talking point, how much difference would a super light bike make at the Tour de France? How much difference would a super light bike make at the Tour de France? What if the UCI bike weight limit of 6.8 kilograms was abolished and riders were allowed to use the lightest bits and pieces available to humanity? How much faster would they go up the climbs? Well, I decided to do some maths to see what the effect of a 4.5 kilogram hyperbike would be over a 6.8 kilogram UCI legal bike. For the sake of argument, I'm going to look at some of Thibaut Pinot's efforts that he's done in the Tour because, he's been the strongest climber in the race at this point when we record this show. It's probably given him the curse now. So first up, we're going to look at his effort from stage 15 of the Tour on the Prada Albi. He did the fastest time at that summit finish. And if we have a look at it, it's a 10.2 kilometre climb with an average gradient of 7%. And according to Strava, he did it in 27 minutes, 6 seconds, which is seriously rapid. And then what we're going to do is plug that data into a bike calculator that's freely available on the internet with all the details. Now, Pinot's weight is said to be 63 kilograms. He's a light dude, but we're assuming that he's not riding naked, so we'll add on an extra kilogram for his clothes. We're giving him clothes. And then we're also going to put his bike weight at 7 kilograms. The reason for this, rather than 6.8, is, it has bottles on it and a computer, which just kind of knocks the weight up a little bit. Now, if we put in the details of the climb, we can see that this calculates Pinot's power to do that time as 396 watts, which is seriously impressive, but also roughly what you'd expect for someone who's able to, potentially win the Tour de France. Now, if we drop Pinot's bike weight down to that 4.5 kilogram hyper bike weight, then hypothetically, all other things being equal, Pinot could have gone up in 49.56, over a minute faster than on a 7 kilogram bike setup, which, that seems like a lot to me, especially if he's trying to compete for the win in a Grand Tour. So I'm going to look at something else now, which I think is quite interesting, which is what if we look at just the difference between a lightweight climbing bike and an aero bike? A lot of the top World Tour climbers, they don't go for the aero bike because it's usually slightly heavier, 400 grams or so. Not much, but slightly heavier. Let's see what penalty that would have on a climb like the Tourmalet. I got this idea because I looked at both of Valverde's bikes at the Tour. He had his Ultimate and he had his Canyon Aeroad. Now, he prefers the Ultimate because it's lighter and he can get it on the UCI limit of 6.8 kilograms. I weighed his Aeroad as well, and that came out at 7.15 kilograms. So ever so slightly heavier, just 350 grams, not much. So for the sake of argument here, we'll add 400 grams onto Thibaut Pinot's bike. And when you plug those numbers in, it makes him 12 seconds slower on the Tourmalet. Just 12 seconds. 12 seconds isn't a lot. And it's also not taking into account any time that he could potentially claw back out of that 12 seconds through riding a more aerodynamic bike. Now, at the speeds that Pinot rides up the climbs, which is, over 20 kilometers an hour, there's a good chance that there are some significant aero savings to be made, but I haven't done the maths to work those out. Now, what this kind of suggests to me as well, and I'm surprised by these numbers as well, is that maybe we care a bit too much about weight. But this is all estimates, and if there's any of you watching at home who have more sophisticated mathematical models or ways of calculating this, then please, by all means, get in touch or write in the comments section down below. But we want to know what you think as ever. So get involved in the comments section down below. Do you think the pros should be allowed to ride super light, ridiculous bikes? Do you think we care too much about weight? Let us know. Hot tech now, and we've got blooming loads this week. First up, bikes, and this from Colnago, which is the V3 RS. Brand new bike and supersedes the V2R, which you may have seen Dan Martin riding this year, and at the Tour de France. It's available in both rim brake and disc brake, and it comes in at an impressive 790 grams for a disc brake bike, albeit in a size 50. Now, it can accommodate 28mm tyres, and it's said to be even stiffer, 12% in the rear, 6% stiffer in the front. And like every other performance road bike that's come out so far this year, it's lightweight and aero. So you've got aero tube shapes on the down tube and head tube. You've got dropped seat stays, integrated cables. Yeah, it's another one. And also out this week was the new Cannondale CAD 13. And again, it's another performance road bike that's got aero. So it's basically the aluminium version of the new Super 6 Evo and replaces the Cannondale CAD 12, which had its classic shape. So once again, drop seat stays, aerodynamic tube shapes, and more integration of the cabling. Interestingly though, Cannondale, well, they haven't called it the CAD 14. When the CAD 12 came out, that replaced the CAD 10. And I went to the launch, and at the time, they said that it was the CAD 12 and it had missed the CAD 11 because they believed it wasn't just one better, it was two better. So presumably the CAD 13 is, well, only one better than the CAD 12, but better nonetheless. And also out this week, there's a new bike from Servo. Right, this is getting ridiculous. Look at that. Yes. It's gone aero as well. It's got aero tube shapes, integrated cabling, and dropped seat stays. But this one is a gravel bike. It's designed to be a gravel bike for those that want to go fast on gravel. A bit like the 3T Exploro. So you've got, those aero features there, and it's less focused on those who want to kind of just go on gravel adventures and cover up their bike in loads of bikepacking luggage. But I have to admit, it does look rather cool, and it can take 650B wheels as well. Our mates at Ollie have launched a new smart trainer. It's called the Sweeto, and it comes ready to go out the box, including with an 11-speed cassette. So you're ready to go on any online platform you want, such as Zwift being a smart trainer. And according to Elite, it has an integrated power meter, which is 2.5% accurate. It's capable of simulating gradients up to 15%, and has a max wattage of 1900 watts, which, essentially makes it OP-proof. Top tyre tech now, and Continental has just released a new limited edition 200 thread per inch version of its competition tubular tyre. Now, according to Continental, the new tyre is 10 watts faster at 40 kilometers an hour, and it has a special yellow Tour de France stamp on it because it's, special and limited edition. And there's another Tour de France twist. There's only 3,480 of them being made, which, top marks if you guessed this correctly, is because that happens to be the total number of kilometres in this year's Tour de France. Cool. British wheel brand Hunt have released a new set of alloy disc brake wheels, the 34 aero wides, and they're making quite a big claim that these are the fastest aero tested alloy disc brake wheels. And they've done this by fitting 25mm tyres to the wheels and then testing them against competitors' wheels using the Mavic wind average drag calculation to find the results. Now, as the name suggests, these wheels are 34mm deep with a 26mm wide external rim, but it's really cool to see a relatively small brand pushing the R&D. Hot flashy sunglasses tech now, and 100% the sponsors of Peter Sagan have launched a very limited edition pair of shades, limited to just 50 pieces. They're called the 100% Speed Trap Sagan 2019 LEs. Catchy. And they feature a gold coated lens, 24 karat gold, and there's etching on them as well. And you also get a signed card by Sagan himself if you're lucky to get a pair. But there's only 50 pairs, 2 of them have already been auctioned off for charity, and the other 48, well, I can't see them for sale anywhere. I've also not seen John for a couple of days. It's now time for Screw Riding Upgrades by Upgrades, where you submit evidence of the upgrades that you've made to your bikes or equipment for the chance to win the ultimate prize, the Camelback Eddy water bottle, GCN themed. Don't have one here right now, but trust me, we do have plenty of them to give away. Now, last week was a battle between Eric and Barney. Yes, it was Eric and Barney. Now, the winner with 75% of the vote was Eric. Yes, it was. It was Eric. This week, we've got Federico from Buenos Aires in Argentina. This is Federico's first road bike. It came about thanks to traveling in Europe when he was staying in Israel. Now, Federico realized that he couldn't live without his bike, so he popped along to a local bike shop, and in the dark corner, darker than you can imagine, was a Pinarello from 1997. One of the rims was starting to crack around the eyelets, and Federico thought that some small upgrades would make it into the bike he would cherish on his return to Argentina. Changes were made. He swapped out the Campag Veloci rear mech to the carbon-bodied Record, and he also changed the bars and stem to modern oversized Pro PLT versions, and he wrapped them in, well, the rather delicious Supercaz bar tape. Now, he finally replaced the cracked rim and got a pair of Campagnolo Berlin rims. Very lucky, as there can't be many of those pairs still around. Anyway, there it is to begin with. I'm looking forward to this. Look at that. Oh, nice. I like that you've kept the original paint job there as well, and you've swapped the stem. Nice, that looks a lot better. That's made a big difference. With that bar tape, you've done a great job of matching that to the paint job on the original frame. Nice details. I think you've done an excellent job there. But I am slightly worried, Federico, that you have two heads, as you have two helmets propping up the bike in that picture. Federico's facing stiff competition this week. He's up against Judson from the Picaroons Roundhouse, Canada. Now, Judson and his wife were looking for a winter project to spend the long Canadian winter on together. And they picked up this dilapidated late 1978 Peugeot PR Series road bike. Upgrade segment, a lot of Peugeots. They get a lot of love. I like it. Now, Judson's wife did all the creative and artistic work, which included sandblasting the frame down to its bare steel and making her own version of Peugeot's famous tulip red paint and recreating the logos with a vinyl printer. That's impressive. I'm really impressed with that. Judson cold set the frame to give enough rear dropout spacing to put in a modern set of Mavic wheels with 11-speed spacing, and it was built up with mostly Shimano 105 and a Ritchie Classic saddle, and finished off with some gorgeous tan-walled Michelin Dynamic Classics. Nice, gives it a good look that. It totally works, and the matched bar tape with the saddle. Got a lot of time for that, Judson. Top job, and Judson's wife too. Sorry, I don't know your name. But it's not up to me, so let us know what you think, and you can vote up here. Judson versus Federico. It's time now for my favourite part of the show, the Bike Vault, where you submit pictures of your bikes, and then myself will judge them to be nice or super nice. Now, if they're deemed to be super nice, then I'll ring the bell and they'll go in the Bike Vault. So I'll get the bell. There it is. Right. First up this week, we've got Thomas, who's from St Mary the Virgin Church, East Haddon in the UK. I don't think he's from there. I just think that's where his bike is. It's a B-Twin Ultra 900 CF. Check that out. Great. I mean, he's got it in, yes, biggie smalls in there. Like the way that the bar tape matches the saddle, colour coordinated, and he's got matching bottles in there. Very tidy in his Elite Vico cages. It's good. It's very good. I mean, it's nice, but there's a little bit of steerer tube above the stem. So I think that one's just a nice. Okay, right, next, Duncan, who's from Portland in Oregon. Now, Duncan has his BMC 021. Check this out. Whoa, look at that. That is very, very tidy indeed. I like that. I like his absolute black chain rings. Biggie Smalls again. And yeah, well, he's prepped it for the shoot. I quite like that light he's got on the back as well. And he's very nicely matched up the wheels and got the valve stems perfectly down below. No excess steerer tube. I mean, this is it's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Your lawn needs a mow. Nice. Right. Next up is, who have we got next? Chris from Palisades, New Jersey in the US of A. Right. He's got his 2004 Trek 5900 SL Project 1 bike. So an earlier Project 1 bike. Very cool indeed. Chris, nice name sticker you've got there on the top tube. I like that. You've kind of, well, nice old school Dura Ace group set. That's in very good nick. I can see that you've taken care of that and it's been your pride and joy. Although I have to say, I mean, it's a fine example of an earlier carbon bike, but the red bar tape is, yeah, it's kind of clashing a bit for me there. I mean, it's a nice, yeah. Next up, we've got Prince Sabah from Malaysia. Now, sorry if I've completely massacred your name there. Probably haven't pronounced it correctly. But we've got your Villia GTR team. This is a great, great photograph. Love it. What an amazing view that is. I really want to go to Malaysia after seeing that. It looks incredible. And that's a really nice bike. Really nice. Really, really nice. Biggie Smalls once again. And you've not got the crank in the 3 o'clock position, but I'll forgive it because I can see you're using your helmet to prop up the bike. Although it's a beautiful bike, it's beautifully composed image, great, everything's just, but what is wrong with it? Go on, I'll spot something that's wrong with it, spot something that's wrong with it, spot something. The wheels aren't quite aligned, sorry, nice. And next up, finally, we've got Tommy from the Naval Air Station in Fallon. Now, what a lovely sunset photo Tommy has taken at the United States Navy's premier air-to-air, air-to-ground training facility and home to the Naval Fighter Weapons School, aka Top Gun. New Top Gun trailer out actually this week, pretty cool. But would you look at that? That appears to be a VA-97 A7 Corsair 2 on the left there, a carrier-capable subsonic light attack aircraft that first saw active service in the Vietnam War. But the tech stats are what we're here for. So top speed, 690 miles per hour at sea level, but at 500 feet, fully loaded with 12 Mark 82 bombs, the speed dips to 647 miles per hour, but speedy nonetheless. Also fitted with just one gun, but what a gun. The impressive M61A1 Vulcan 20mm rotary cannon has over 1,000 rounds of ammunition. Nice. Now the takeoff distance for that particular airframe was also 520 meters when fully loaded at over 19,000 kilograms. Nice, very nice indeed. But unfortunately, not a super nice. So yeah, that's the end of the Bike Vault this week. More Bike Vault next week. It's nearly time for the end of the show. I know. But don't worry, I'm going to read out some of your comments first from last week. So first up, Sarah Bellum, who wrote, John's crooked glasses are driving me crazy. I assume he means not like the Fine Young Cannibals, but drive in another way. Anyway, that's why he's not here. You've guessed it. He's not allowed to come back until he's rectified that. Oh yes, won't happen again. Jeremiah Sullivan says, thanks a lot. I laughed so hard during buy upgrades that I woke the baby on me that I just worked very hard to get to sleep. Sorry, Jeremiah. I hope this week's show doesn't make you laugh. Nick Coulter says, not sure if it's just the tan, but John is looking properly healthy here. Aside from the voice, what have you been eating, mate? I'm not sure what he's been eating, to be quite honest. I'll try and find out for you. He was drinking quite a lot. And Eloy Chair asks, has John has become the godfather of the cycling world?
True story.
Okay, right. Well, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed the video. And if you'd like to get your hands on one of these awesome GCN theme shirts, this is the GCN Alpe d'Huez one with Dutch corner on it. Well, they're available in the GCN shop, so you can head over there and help support the channel. Right, see you later. Bye.